Charles turning down Harry's desire for military titles has Harry indignant. Sean on YouTube claims that Prince Harry made an official request to the new monarch to restore the military titles that the late Queen had revoked after the request was turned down. Harry was enraged. Harry will never be able to forgive King Charles for the vile act of removing his honorary military titles. The Duke of Sussex dislikes that his estranged father made such extreme decisions after leaving the royal life in 2020, according to royal author and biographer Robert Jobson, who wrote Our King, the Man, and the Monarch Revealed. Harry once held a number of honorary military titles, including Commodore-in-Chief of Small Ships and Diving Honorary Air Commandant of RAF Huntington and Captain General of the Royal Marines. These titles were given to him by the late Queen Elizabeth II, but they were removed once he formally retired as a senior working member of the royal family in February 2021. Harry despises the idea that he isn't Captain General of the Royal Marines, and he despises the fact that he the royal beat if he'd been in the royal family and not gone down this path. I think he'd have been hugely beneficial to the country and he could have done even more jobs, and claimed having his honorary military titles taken away from him is a sensitive subject for Harry and something that he likely won't forgive his father for doing, what, in his mind, would think the king would give them back when he wrote about aiming a missile at his car and his military service should be a huge negative at this point. Bragging about kill counts, something must have given him the impression that daddy is softer than granny. Recently Harry appeared to make a pointed swipe at hanging up the uniform during a speech at the opening ceremony of the Invictus Games. He began his speech in German, welcoming everyone to the event before he switched back to English and started talking about military uniform, saying, "Remember that feeling of pride and honor when you first wore your nation's flag on your uniform. Most of us perhaps remember more its final outing, all the time we hung it up for good. Am I writing saying for some it represented a cape, perhaps a shield, or an escape, for others an opportunity, recognition, or a calling? No matter what it meant to you then or your reasons for signing up, it was always about being of service to others and to your mates." He continued, "Ultimately you were part of a purpose bigger than yourself, and that feeling felt good in spite of calls for him to be permitted to wear military dress. One exception was made when Harry wore uniform during a vigil around his grandmother's coffin. After he and Meghan left their roles as royals and were forced to give up their military affiliations, he was prohibited from wearing military uniform. For King Charles's coronation earlier this year, he wore a mourning suit. He also wore a suit for the late Queen's funeral last year. He wore full regalia as Captain General of the Royal Marines at the Mountbatten Music Festival at the Royal Albert Hall in March 2020, the final occasion he donned a military outfit before ceasing to be a working royal.